All right, hey, what's up, YouTube? So,
Some U.S. producers object to the import.
going to do a quick run over here to Panda Express. Just a quick, training video. Still really thinking about my wife's uncle. Happened to be the best man at my wedding, and let this warm up a little bit here. And yeah, it just still weighs on my mind on the safety factor of these things, and what can happen so fast. And I'm going to make a road trip. I got a video. I'm really just kind of doing a quick test here. Get back into editing a little bit, but I'm going to do a full video on going over to his where he actually passed away at, the street that it happened at, right here in Charlotte, Weddington Road. And to my understanding, they have the orange, death markings, I guess you might call them, on the road. So anyway, I'm going to do a video of that. We're going to ride over there, and on the way, again, just go through what I normally do when I'm riding. And he's got a motorcycle too. I haven't rode with him in a long time. But just kind of go through what I do on my, as I'm doing every day riding in different parts of my ride. So give you an opportunity to kind of just see how I, everything that's going through my mind almost on every ride. You hear that beeping right there. That's a great safety thing right here. This is telling me my tire is below what I wanted it to set. I've got it going like at 35. I've got it like 5 below my tire, but I've actually started letting my tires. I've watched a video and it said, don't go with the 36, I think, is a single rider on the F6B. So I'm now going to the a little bit lower on both the front and the back. I'm keeping my back at 36 because my wife rides a lot. So anyway, that's a really good unit if you can see it there. Just really quick, $69, and has done a great job. Hardly ever needs to be charged. But anyway, that's a review. We're not doing that here. So yeah, so let's talk about it. COVID-19, man. And what's that mean? It means a lot of people are just walking around the neighborhoods. They can't do anything else, can't go to dinner. A lot of people exercising, jogging. So in the neighborhood, I usually do, the maximum 25. I'm slowing down now to 20. You saw the streets are just, the kids are on the sidewalk. It's very busy. So I think maybe that's the first thing to talk about. Are we slowing down even more in neighborhoods, making that, little less of a chance a kid going to pop outside of a car or whatever. Boy, talk about what would you feel worse? What's worse than you passing away on a motorcycle, or somebody actually taking the life of a child? Back up a little bit here on this curve, not too safe on a safety video. But yeah, wouldn't that be horrible? Kid darts out in front of you, behind a parked car or side of a car, comes running down the front or the rear. Maybe I'll show you what I'm talking about on the way back to be looking for. These are really big turns, man. I went road trip from here to Florida, from here to Ohio, and nothing's got these curves. They're fun. Tail of the dragon, of course. Go up there and get all kinds of these. But anyway, just observations here, guys. Even when I try to stay mostly in the middle of the road in most type situations. I don't really like to ride with groups, to be quite honest. Even pairs. I don't want to be on the outside or the inside or be forced to stay in a certain situation. If I ride with somebody, I let them know I'm going to be in the middle of the road, get back, 3 car lanes and go the middle of the road too. I just don't think this is safe. This isn't safe as you could be. You know, anybody go left to center a little bit, look at this, you know. So I stay over here. If I'm on a 2-lane road, it's 55 mile an hour, you're going to find me passing cars. I'm going to be right over here on the right side in case that car kicks something up. Makes my passenger, my wife, feel a lot better. Doesn't blow her off the back of the bike when I'm over on this side passing cars. It just gives you more of a chance if there's some kid on the phone or some alcoholic or somebody messing around and go left to center. You know, you just got more of a chance. I mean, that's pretty common sense, but I don't know if a lot of people think about that constantly. So, I don't know. Just, again, I'm going to just be going spontaneous here on stuff that just comes up as we're riding. I'm going to do the same thing going over to the crash site of my wife's uncle. These roads right here, I think, are probably some of the most dangerous. These 2-lane roads going each side. You got cars over here in this lane. Stop. They're not right now. It's pretty casual here right now. But anytime you see a car in your left side, I am definitely over on this side. If I'm in this lane, I'm on the right side of the lane on a 2-lane road going this way. And just always being prepared for that person in front on the left-hand side. Or on that left lane to be coming over into your right lane. Visibility, guys. I've got, see if you can see this down here. I've got these LEDs. There's 2 lights. I call it the bright one where you push it in, you get like 2 LED lights up and down. I call that my day riding. Anybody can see it at night, right? You're not invisible at night. But invisibility during the day is like, should be the center of every motorcycle person's focus. How can I be more visible? And boy, these LEDs coming down along with my other 2 lights here on the old F6B really lights you up coming down the road. Plus my bike's white. It makes people slow down. They think I'm a cop. I love it. I get a lot more people slow down around me. They're very cautious around me. They don't speed around me. Don't want to turn in the middle of an intersection here, but I'm going to get over the left. Head check there, always. I don't care if I just looked in my side view mirror, it's a head check. Going into another lane. Got a yellow blinker here, so yeah, just again, just spontaneous here as things come to mind. Plenty of room to make my turn. And yeah, safely. I always say you've got, there's only probably about, people say it's watch out for the other person. I'm okay with that. I didn't have a stop sign there. I stopped anyway. I don't know if that's dangerous or being safer, but people say that, you know, the first thing you hear when you tell anybody you're going to be a motorcycle rider, the first thing they hear, oh, you better watch out. And it's not you got to be careful of, it's the other person. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Yeah, of course that's common sense. You're going to have to watch out for some of the things we just talked about. But you have a lot of control over your actions that can help control what other people do, if that makes sense. And I'm talking to somebody right now, having a good conversation of my video I put out of my uncle, or my wife's uncle. And, you know, we're discussing, you know, he lost somebody too. And we're discussing on what happened with that accident. He said a lady came over into the, in a big pickup truck, cut his cousin's husband off. And I'm just trying to find out a little bit more, you know, about that situation. I hate that it happened, but, you know, everybody can learn from this. And one of those things, one of the things that, you know, stand out to me is if you're in a line of traffic and you have a passing lane over here and you jet out and go 0 to 60 in my bike in 4.5 seconds, you weren't there a second ago. So these cars up here never saw you. They could have checked and you weren't there, and then they could merge over in that left lane. They didn't cut you off. You just got there before they were even thinking about checking again. They just looked. Nobody was there. You pull out, whip around. You're at 4.4, 0 to 60. Now you're there, and they pulled out in front of you. Well, that's not their fault, in my opinion. I don't care if they cut you off. Yeah, they might have been. They should have checked again. But you know, how much do you have control of? I like to think that I have control over myself and other people's actions, all but about maybe 2 to 5% of any length ride I've ever go on. If I go out 5 hours at 2% to 5%, I don't have control of a situation, you know. But all the rest of the time, I feel my actions can help control that other person's actions. Again, if that makes sense, I don't know really how to say it, but I'm gonna stop here and go in here and grab my food from Panda. Hang with me. Oh man, so look at that, man. The F6B, love it. If you can see that, me put my food in there, just close it right up. Oh, this bike, I love it. I like these bags better because it's not like my hard bags or the soft bags I had on the Vulcan, although I like them. But I just get so much more in these bags just by laying it in there and then closing it. So cool. But anyway, guys, back to the video here. So probably the worst thing I do is rolling stops. And I try to check, double check before I do a rolling stop, but that's probably one of my biggest not practicing what I preach. That guy coming over in my lane right there on the turn. So again, right side of the lane, approaching that, for getting ready for somebody to do that. Lane positioning, I think, is so huge on how you can avoid things and be safer. Just lane positioning in your lane, where you're at in that lane, constantly thinking about it. I had a guy tell me one time, I think about it all the time, he would go from the outside on the highway, he would go from the outside of the lane to the inside of the lane, especially passing people, to make sure they, look at this guy, to make sure they saw him and he was never in a blind spot. And that was pretty interesting. So he would go back and forth from here to here and ride from here to here, you know, and just kind of go back in and out of that position. That's pretty interesting thought. I think that made sense. So here's a great intersection to talk about intersections. And anytime I go through an intersection, like I said on my loss video of my best man there, Tim, when I go through an intersection, I slow down, period. Always. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going slower. And then I'm just scanning like crazy, left and right, watching every lane, especially all the lanes. Look at all the lanes and things, people coming in. And if I got a green light, I never assume the other person is going to stop. Never. So if you got a green light and you think, oh, I'm just going to take off and go, and it just turned green, you better be looking down that road. What the heck is that thing? Did you see this? Let's speed up here for a second here. What the heck is that? Is that like it's like a freaking Escalade jacked up in the front. It's got monster tires on here. Yes'm. That is crazy. He's like riding a wheelie down the road. So, yeah, crazy things you see when you put a video on. Never do a vlog here. And anyways, look at this right here. Staying out of this guy. This guy, I never want somebody beside me, ever. Never, never, never. And so when you're driving two lanes, if you can avoid it, and you can, again, you have a lot of control over that, to make sure that you don't have anybody right beside you ever, because you never assume they see you. And road trip over to see this crash site in a day or two. I'm going to be making my way over there, and we're going to see this dangerous intersection, or not intersection, but this curve that caused many accidents and finally a death. And there was a big write-up in the Tribune over here talking about it, and the neighbors praying that this will get something fixed before more people lose their life. In this this crash site that we're going to go visit here in a couple days. So anyway, I know, man, my boom set, this Sena headset is so old. I got a Sena camera. It's not a GoPro. So you're not going to get the best audio video from me, guys, but hopefully it'll help you still, and you can hear me and see enough to understand what I'm talking about. And I've got to make some adjustments here on the camera. And I know I have all that lag and everything else going on. So people always cut me down on my videos, saying it's doing some crazy stuff on my, I don't know, frames per second or whatever is not set right, but bear with me. We'll get there someday when I can afford a GoPro or a couple of them and some good editing equipment. But right now, here's what you got, guys. Yeah, just so, let's see if we can see what I'm talking about with the kids and the situation. We have people just love to park on the street here. We got small streets anyway. People just love to park on the streets. But here's the situation right here, man, that you're thinking of all the time. A lot of times these streets are so small, I'm driving down the middle of the road if there's no cars coming. And is that safe? Well, it might not be in one respect, but I'll tell you, it's a lot safer for kids that want to dart out at you. And you can't see them. This car right here, look at this, car's here every stupid day. And and here, look at this situation here. A kid coming down on this back of this car, and you not having time to see him. This same here on this car. People parking on the street drives me nuts. I do it once in a while. I have to move my son's car down there sometimes, but some of these people just think the street's their parking lot. Drives you nuts. So here we are. Yeah, there we go. Those nice folks. Here's another situation right here. Look at this, in between both these cars, coming out of the front of that car. Boy, wouldn't that just be awful. But golf carts too, man. Golf carts, you got to be aware of. Kids playing with a golf cart and parents letting their kids drive, and it's like a car, the ones that can go 25 miles an hour or so. But anyway, back home, guys. Again, just a quick chatting video here to get warmed up, and hope you learned a little something, but we're going to go over a lot more on the way to that crash site again. So later, YouTube.